Next hour, Congresswoman Carolyn McCarthy and Diane DeGette will hold a news conference to call on Congress to pass a ban on high-capacity ammunition clips. Senator Dianne Feinstein says the first day of the new Congress, she will introduce the assault weapons ban. And Senator Joe Lieberman is getting more support for the idea of creating a special commission to explore solutions in the wake of the Sandy Hook school shooting. Let me bring in Shira Toeplitz from Roll Call, who has been writing about this. Shira, good morning.
Good morning.
Let's talk first about the news conference we're expecting next hour. Diana DeGette and Carolyn McCarthy, they want to ban high-capacity magazines, but, you know, we've heard this before, frankly. DeGette introduced this bill in 1998. How much support is it likely to get?
This is a really tough one for Congress to pass. Representative Carolyn McCarthy, who herself has been affected by shootings, her husband and son were killed on the Long Island Railroad before she ran for Congress. She's always been a big advocate of banning these high-capacity magazines. And in the wake of the shooting of Gabrielle Giffords, she also submitted legislation that would do the same thing. And frankly, it didn't really go anywhere. It's a very hard thing to pass through the House, especially because Republicans obviously control the House. And the incoming House Judiciary Chairman, Representative Goodlatte, indicated to one of our reporters yesterday that he has no appetite at all for gun control legislation, even in wake of the Newtown tragedy.
But as Roll Call has pointed out, there are several Democrats softening. Max Baucus from Montana is an avid hunter, and he has an A rating from the NRA. He would at least support Joe Lieberman's commission, although Bob Casey of Pennsylvania has rejected gun control legislation. Is this commission more likely than an actual ban on assault weapons? Is there a way to sort of sense what the likelihood is on these various things?
Yeah, there's a way. You can look at the numbers of the incoming Congress. You mentioned Max Baucus, a Democrat, an avid sportsman. He gets an A+ from the NRA, the only Democrat in the Senate to do so. But he's also up for re-election in 2014, I should point out, in a very conservative state like Montana. I think a commission is something a lot of these more conservative Democrats would be willing to support instead of outright gun control measures. And let's also remember Washington and Congress in particular, they love commissions. They love to form commissions. It's a way of kicking issues down the road or passing the buck so their colleagues can make calls on these tough legislative issues instead of themselves.
There's also a lot of these fights going on, obviously, on the state level. Michigan's governor has just vetoed a bill that would have expanded where people could have carried weapons. On the other hand, Ohio's governor says he will sign a bill that's going to allow guns into the State House parking lot. Are we going to see more legislation at the state level while all this plays out at the federal level?
You know, I do believe so. I think that's a great point, especially as Congress proves increasingly ineffective at being able to pass anything. I think you'll see states taking control on things like immigration and also in wake of this tragedy, gun control. Mayor Michael Bloomberg as well has obviously been a big advocate for gun control. And so it's not only states but also cities as well. Rahm Emanuel, obviously guns are a huge issue in Chicago given the recent spike in murders there.
We touched on this earlier in the hour that the NRA is going to be holding a news conference on Friday. They did release a statement yesterday expressing shock and sadness. Quote, the NRA is prepared to offer meaningful contributions to help make sure this never happens again. I guess the question is, what does meaningful contributions mean? Is there any indication of that?
No, the NRA is a very close circle of people. We won't be hearing a lot of news leaks about this kind of thing. It's very hard to determine what they mean. In the past, they have not really been willing to give any wiggle room at all to a lot of their policies. They've been very clear. There's not a lot of gray area in the kinds of things they advocate for. So we have no idea what they mean by these contributions on Friday. We have no clue what they're going to say.
We'll have to wait and see. Thank you, Shira. It's good to see you. Shira Toeplitz of Roll Call.
Good to see you, too. Thank you.